Yesterday on 16 July, when I looked at the newspapers, I found the report of India and European Union meeting which was held on 15th. And that in that meeting, Prime Minister made his opening remarks. And while making his opening remarks, he said, India and European Union are natural partners. Our partnership is important for global peace and stability. And this reality is clearer given the situation around the world. Yes, we should have global peace. Why not peace at home also? And with neighborhood also? And yes, we should have stability the world over. But why not that stability at home also? Why the government itself is trying to destabilize our system, weakening all democratic institutions, challenging Indian constitution, and creating an environment of subversion in the country, government itself trying to do? I want to raise this question. Then Prime Minister further referred to shared universal values, and universal values is in codes written in the newspaper. Shared universal values of democracy, pluralism, respect for international institutions, multilateralism. Yes, of course. These should be the universal values to be shared. But are they meant only to be shared within the nations? Amongst the nations? No. They are also supposed to be shared values within the country also. Shared values between its citizens also. Of all religions, of all languages, of all cultures, in every part of the geographic boundary of our country. So these shared universal values are meant to be same for the country within also. I got prompted, my dear friends, to come and talk to you because I felt that there is a double speak. When Prime Minister goes and speaks in international forums, he speaks these big words. But what is happening at home? Democratic rights of our citizens are being crushed. Various movements, agitations, individuals, institutions, whosoever is questioning government, raising doubts, having dissenting opinions, and using their freedom of expression as a right emanating from Indian Constitution, there is attack on them. The trollers of IT cell of the ruling party, they run behind them. They are ridiculed, they are abused, they are threatened. No democratic expressions are allowed to go ahead. Immediately the threats come. And all the movements are under threat today. So talking of democracy at the international level and not respecting the democratic rights provided by Indian Constitution, and anybody asking questions from the government being trolled about and their rights being crushed, it's a double speak. Pluralism you talk. India is proud of its pluralism. For centuries old, we have been having respect to all religions which are home to home. India is home to them. We have various cultures, various languages, various ways of eating habits, dressing habits. We are a beautiful rainbow. But that pluralism is under attack. Under your regime, Mr. Prime Minister. Hindutvavadi politics of polarization continues to suppress pluralism. That is the 6 years rules which we Indians have seen here. So talking of pluralism abroad and letting your bhaktas and those who dance to your tune in the media, substantive part of the media dances to the tune of government. And that is why pluralism is attacked in the country. This is also a double speak. Hypocrisy. You talk of respect for international institutions. I am a trade unionist. I know what respect is being given by your government to International Labour Organization, various conventions which India has ratified, to international covenants of which India is signatory, to international labour standards to which India is committed. Don't we know what all is being done to crush the trade union movement of this country? To silence the voices of opposition? You are changing labour laws by challenging all those what we stand and what we are committed in those international institutions and in the covenants which we are party to that. And that's why I got prompted to come and tell Mr. Prime Minister, this is camouflaging and this is double speak. At least be truthful. If you are saying that, you practice that in India. Your government should practice that in India. Indian people are practicing. Indian people still believe in democracy, in pluralism, in respecting international institutions and human rights for the whole of humanity in this planet. But your government, your bhaktas and your ruling regime and your Sangh Parivar doesn't leave any opportunity to ridicule opposition of any kind. You talk of multilateralism. Yes, of course, there should be multilateralism. We should have friends all over the world, in all continents. We should have that kind of relationship. But what we see day in and day out, you are trying to push our country to United States of America and Israel combination, to that duet. Don't we see it? We see it happening, what you are saying. So talking of multilateralism and pushing India's foreign policy in one direction, this is also understood by us. And that's why, my fellow citizens, I came to talk to you. Let me tell you, the way we are feeling here, that human rights are being violated, that the government speaks something and practices something. So Prime Minister should understand. He should not think what he speaks, the people will look at the things only that way. What he thinks, the people will look at only that way and think that way. It's not so. When within the country we question, there are people the world over who are observing what is happening in the country. And let me report to you, if you have not gone through the newspapers, Mr. Michael addressed the press conference and he was reporting about India and European Union meeting. And what did he say? He said that we raised our concern on Jammu and Kashmir. He said we raised our concern on Citizenship Amendment Act. And you know how Jammu and Kashmir suddenly was converted into jail by the government in August 2019. Democratic rights of Kashmiri people have been crushed. Don't we know it? And is it only the people in India raising this voice? The world over those voices are there. So they took note of this and they raised their concern. And Citizenship Amendment Act, on this act, there has been widespread movement in the country, not only by Muslims. They were outnumbered by Hindus in the demonstrations. Our country has a Citizenship Act since 1955. This government brought an amendment to muddle with it and tried to communalize it. So there was opposition to that. And there has been attempt to change constitution indirectly through this, subverting Indian constitution. And that's why Mr. Michael also said, when he was talking about Citizenship Amendment Act, he said, we hope that Supreme Court will have a role to play. They already know that the case is in Supreme Court also. So the world is watching, Mr. Prime Minister. Don't think the people look at the world the way you look at and people will understand the way you want them to understand. It's not so. So they noted this thing. They also said that we agreed to continue dialogue on human rights. So every country has to respect human rights. So there are doubts within the country, there are doubts abroad also. And so, my friends, they believe that Supreme Court will uphold Indian Constitution in the Citizenship Amendment Act. But I want to say, Citizenship Amendment Act, is it under UAPA? Is it under NSA? Is it under sedition? Is it under Terrorist Act? In our country, we have been opposing several of the amendments which any government, this or the earlier governments, they used to come. Citizens had their doubts. They used to oppose those amendments, and the governments did take cognizance of the opposition of vast majority of people. Even if it is not vast majority, a substantial section is opposing, then the government used to withdraw those amendments. This happened even during present day regime. Mr. Prime Minister, don't you remember on this question of SC, ST and OBC? When some amendment was being brought, your government had to take it back because there was agitation all over India. So, on this Citizenship Amendment Act, it satisfies the communal agenda of Sangh Parivar, and you don't want to withdraw that amendment. But there is opposition, and opposition will be there, and people will resist it. Supreme Court, we also wish and we also hope, great hopes on Supreme Court also on this question, that they will uphold Constitution the way international organizations and the governments are hoping so. There were talks about civil nuclear research program, some agreements happening, then atomic energy, in science, in technology, some agreements happening. And you already know Sitharaman came with the packages, and private sector is supposed to be involved into it. And we have been saying that in these sensitive areas, do not try to have disinvestment or bringing in private sector. We have been telling it, unions have been opposing it, but they have announced a policy and they went in, talked about that. But definitely some people must have raised questions with the government team now or before, I don't know. Prime Minister seemed to be giving clarification, because there must have been some question that is it this Atmanirbhar Bharat something inward looking? And you don't want to do multilateralism or having international linkages or something like this, you are going to be a closed down? Prime Minister is explaining. And when I used to explain, people were not believing me or were not taking it seriously. Because Prime Minister was trying to say Atmanirbhar Bharat means local. Local ke liye vocal ho jao. Local for global. And then your supply chains, these supply chains which were very active during lockdown period. So people thought it is to encourage home-based sector, cooperative sector, MSMEs, our own supply chains within the districts, within the state and within whole of India. So to flourish our own indigenous businesses in a big way when the economy is suffering. But I told you it's not that what Prime Minister is talking. Prime Minister is talking about using cheap labor, no decent working conditions for workers, no occupational safety health to them, no issue of their wages being negotiated appropriately or their unions negotiating for them. Exploiting that cheap labor and then supplying the material to our exporters, big corporate houses and foreign companies, those global multinational corporations who have supply chain. Now look at the language which Prime Minister used. He tried to explain that his Atmanirbhar Bharat is for integrating domestic production in India to global supply chains. So it is not for our internal supply chains to be strengthened. The attention is towards providing businesses to those global supply chains, those multinational corporations, and our corporates will be playing a role in that. This has to be understood by us. But friends, I came for another one very important thing to talk to you. Because I quoted that Prime Minister's speech in that international fora, in this India-European Union dialogue. On one day earlier, the day 15th, Prime Minister was addressing, very same day, there is a report in Indian Express. I thank Indian Express for bringing that to the notice of Indian citizens. There it is reported that on 8th July, one special commissioner of police, Mr. Praveen Ranjan, he wrote a letter to the probe teams, which are being headed by senior officers. They are heading probe teams into northeast district of Delhi, the riots which happened. All of us know there was an organized attempt against one community, and then that got converted later on into riotous situation. Many people lost their life. In February and March, the probe was going on. Arrests started happening during lockdown period, and by the time April reached, the people were having apprehensions that COVID-19 period is being utilized to make cases against victims themselves, complainants themselves, picking students from JNU and picking students from Jawaharlal Nehru University as well as from Jamia Millia universities who were involved into opposing Citizenship Amendment Act. So all those people who were only going and participating there, or some of them only went and expressed solidarity, they were not participants or they were not even organizers there, not even daily happening over there, even they were being picked and pushed into jails. And several of the cases you already know, those who have been put into jail and their bails being denied, except Safura's bail because of her pregnancy and a difficult situation. But no bails being provided. And this witch hunting was going on. And one-way traffic was going on. And people were fearing that it is one-track investigations happening. Immediately when all that was being hue and cry was being made, not by Muslims, let me tell you, by Indian citizens of all religions, vast majority, those who are believers of Hinduism, they raised the issues. And they said it is one-way track going on, something wrong happening. And then the police had tweeted promptly, we are impartial in our investigations. We are using forensic evidence. Nobody should doubt our intentions. No innocent will be punished. We are still under investigation. People should not worry. Let us do our work. Okay? Do your work. People have faith in judiciary. People have been faithfully going for their bails also, some of them getting, some of them being refused. But when this Chand Bagh and Khajuri Khas, this area where the riots had happened and the killings had happened, and in the drain over there in this area, some dead bodies were found in those drains. When this area investigation started happening, and those dead bodies were mostly of Muslims, then at that stage, this letter comes. And what does it say? Arrest of some Hindu youth is making angry. Whom? Hindu community. I want to know what is that Hindu community. Is it Sangh Parivar people? Is it BJP people? Is it ABVP people? Who are they? I want to know. In the name of Hindu community, who are these people? And due care should be taken, precaution should be there, give suitable guidelines to your investigation officers, to IOs, be careful because they are angry. No, I want to ask, why it is also mentioned that they are saying there are two Muslims, why you are not arresting them? They were also mobilizing Muslims. Only Hindus were not mobilizing Hindus. They were mobilizing Muslims. And there is a quote. that they were mobilizing for organizing anti-CAA protests also. So that's why I said, to protest against amendment into Citizenship Act is a crime? Under which law? I want to ask. As I earlier said, we have been opposing amendments, and governments have been listening to them, and governments sometimes have been taking back those amendments, and it is a normal course in our Indian constitution and in our democracy. How come this is written in the letter by Special Commissioner of Police? And that's why I want to ask. If it is initiated by the police, then we ask Home Minister to take action against them. And if it is advisory from Home Ministry, we have a biggest question. What is this direction? One-way track, advisory will come from Home Ministry, the way of Gujarat. Advisory to remain slow, go slow, and not to touch the particular community. And that is my serious objection. And that's why I got prompted. What you talk in international forums and what is going on in the country. And this horrifying thing. And next day, in 16 newspaper and in 17 newspaper, I find some kind of a clarification being given by whom? By Mr. Randhawa. Why you are coming to clarify? Let the police commissioner tell why this was done. Let Home Ministry tell. Let there be action if somebody is erring in this thing. Why you are saying these things we generally do, but do you mention Muslims or Hindus or Sikhs like that to be slow for them? And that's why, my friends, it is dangerous times, and I will ask our citizens to be aware, not to be afraid. Raise your voice. Stand with the truth. Stand with your constitution. Stand with democracy. Stand with pluralism. Stand with national and international human rights issues. And that's why I came to say we are not afraid. You cannot try to twist and then come with the clarifications from another officer lower than police commissioner. This will not do. And that's why all citizens, best wishes for your good health during COVID-19 period, but you have to be more alert, not only for your health, with all medical advisories. Raise your voice, protest, always be in action, be in agitation, defend your organizations, never be afraid. That's the message I wanted to give you. My namaskar, my sastriyakal, my salam and adab, and my jai hind to all of you. I'll come again to talk to you.